I'll formulate this rebuttal by defending my own case and then refuting my opponent. Starting with my own case, my opponent asserted that I said that animal testing should be allowed under the most rare and extreme circumstances. However, this is untrue. My opponent has taken my words out of context. I said science has adopted as a standard practice that animal testing should only be used in the most rare and extreme circumstances. My point was that since scientists already avoid animal testing as much as possible, it wouldn't be too much of a leap to ban it outright. My opponent agrees with my 3 R's evaluation, saying that this is in our best interest and the interest of animals to reduce animal testing as much as possible. The logical progression of incremental decrease is naturally 0. Because she agrees that the goal should be to use animal testing as little as possible, all I must do to win this debate is to prove that alternatives exist that justify a complete ban of required animal testing. And I have indeed shown that there are better alternatives. Once again, my opponent agreed with my point that animal testing is only effective 10% of the time. First, she failed to address the possibility and usefulness of in vitro testing. To recap, in vitro testing is the testing of samples on human cells in a dish or test tube. This was supported by my Helen Marston card. She states that, quote, a battery of human-specific in vitro methodologies and preclinical testing is far more predictive than depending on data from another species, end quote. I have clearly shown that we have more effective methods of testing at our fingertips today. Since in vivo methods of testing have proven to fail 9 out of 10 times in the past, why would we choose to continue using such inaccurate methods when better, more accurate methods are available to us? We could cure cancer and another disease if we were twice as effective. Thus, I actually outweigh on this point. Additionally, she ignores my actual evidence from real scientists who work with computer models that in silico testing works and is effective. Instead, she just alleges that computers don't work like animals do. No, but their software models do. This is a proven fact. Finally, my opponent completely ignores my third contention. In the third contention of my case, I proved that current in vivo testing models can and have led to death in the past. I cited Pippin and Sullivan, a pair of scientific researchers, as saying that current animal testing methods lead to an estimated 106,000 deaths annually. This is because of the inherent danger in extrapolating the results of tests conducted on animals of one species to animals of an entirely different species. With in vitro testing, that again my opponent did not address, we could avoid these preventable deaths. Instead of using outdated, inaccurate methods of animal testing, we should advance medical science to the next generation by utilizing the more effective in vitro testing methods. Now to my opponent's case. First of all, I would like to point out that my opponent offers no warrants for any of her claims. In specific, she quotes 3 authors, David Scott, Ian Barry, and Lee Bowman. David Scott is neither a doctor nor a researcher. He's a writer for an internet blog. Ian Barry is an undergraduate columnist for the student-run newspaper at Washington College. Lee Bowman is an opinion columnist for The Caller, a small-town newspaper out of Corpus Christi, Texas. These are her primary sources for her case and for all her attacks on my case. The sources I cite in my case are legitimate scientific publications and studies. As my opponent's evidence is clearly inferior to my own, you must disregard it or give it less weight. Second, she never once cites any evidence that animal tests are required because they are the only way to prove drugs work. Tamoxifen and some antibiotics and her examples of successes with animal testing. These would also be approved under in vitro testing, but without the use of animals. She has to prove that they wouldn't be approved under my proposed system of replacement testing. Since my opponent already agrees that we ought to move away from in vivo testing methods, I propose that we do so. We ought to replace them with more reliable in vitro testing methods, not only because the results that they provide are more trustworthy, but also because of the inherent dangers of animal testing, not only to the test subjects themselves, but also to the human patients. Why do we persist to utilize outdated, ineffective methods of testing when better, more accurate forms exist? This isn't a debate about what's best for animals. It's about what's best for the human race. Clearly, in vitro is the way to go. Thank you.